We wanted a supercomputer for what? For predicting the weather.
Yes.
Dr. Bhabha already did atomic energy,
Yes.
and Vikram Sarabhai has talking about the space program, and
Yes.
why not supercomputer?
You were interested and you are involved in the computer programming or all other things. How this supercomputer project or responsibility came to you?
Oh, that is history. That is history because I will say some certain events that were occurring at that time.
Yeah.
In 1971, I was invited to lead one of the, at that time, very new laboratory called Electronics Research and Development Center in Trivandrum.
Okay.
And this idea was one, I think, one scientist who had come from Imperial College, London, and he was creating a lab. And somehow he got introduced to me in Delhi, and he made me that I want to create a lab for India, and electronics lab, very modern lab, and what is there in Britain at that time, of course in European countries, but particularly Britain. And he invited me that, will you lead such a lab? I was very young at that time.
Okay.
I was 30 to 30 years old, and I said I was leading one of the major labs which are being created for electronics. And that was a change, I think, a turning point in my life.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. But then what we have heard is about supercomputer technology was refused by US
Yes.
to be given to India. And then at that time contemporary scientists will be there in India also as far as computer is concerned.
Yes.
But then how that job was assigned to Dr. Vijay Bhatkar?
For the sake of continuity,
please,
what I was talking,
Yeah.
let me share something with you, that this Electronics Research and Development Center became the major laboratory
Okay.
over a period of time because we decided to create several innovations. We wanted to set innovations will be the engine for further development.
Okay.
And we started making many innovations, and that led me to development of first computers in my laboratory, not supercomputers.
Okay.
First computers in electronics. Rajiv Gandhi I think Mrs. Gandhi got assassinated, and Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister, and he was very keen that India should, I think, create some new innovations in electronics, in computers, and he said that thing. It is in his tenure, I think the challenge of supercomputer development came to India.
Okay.
The challenge came like this, that we wanted a supercomputer for what? For predicting the weather. Now you see the weather, so it's impossible to predict.
I know.
When will the floods come? When will they come? The heavy rains? When no?
I know.
So weather prediction is a major thing, particularly for agrarian economy.
Yes.
We are agriculture economy. The most of our thing at that time, of course, depended on agriculture, but we could not predict when will the rains come.
Okay.
And farmers looking at the sky and thing like that.
I know.
It was at that time the
Same
challenge came, and that predicting the weather, when we create mathematical models, they have to be solved on computers, but not on ordinary computers, what they call now supercomputers. The most powerful computers of the day are called supercomputers.
Okay.
Supreme computers, I think.
By quantum of knowledge and speed also.
Speed, and capacity.
Capacity. Okay.
Capability of solving problems,
Okay,
of very large problems. So that's how the supercomputers came into picture. And Rajiv Gandhi, when we wanted, and Mrs. Gandhi was not there now, and Rajiv Gandhi had to go to US for a high technology accord with that time the president of USA, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was a more liberal person,
Yes.
I think, at that time, and he had set a meeting with, and at that time this issue was raised that we want supercomputer for agriculture and kind of things. But I think the United States government, and particularly the defense people and the Secretary of State, the defense secretary, were very afraid that India will use it for some other purpose.
Oh, okay.
And we must put, if at all we want to give, we'll give some old model, and there will be several restrictions put on the use of this tool.
Okay.
And those were put.
Okay.
And at that time, that lady who was there, the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of External Affairs, what we call, I think, Secretary of State, I think then they said that now we'll put several restrictions only for weather prediction. We'll allow you to use it.
Okay.
If we find that it is being used for something else, then please warn. We warn you. We warn India, that kind of thing, that even the pin will not be allowed to come to India.
Oh.
So that was the thing which prompted him to, when he came back, and he challenged us. I think at that time electronics engineers or the scientists, other professors, that why can't we develop this computers, this kind of supercomputer within India? Dr. Bhabha already did atomic energy, and Vikram Sarabhai has talking about the space program, and, and we had started developing space program of India. Why not supercomputer? It is where I came into picture.
Okay.
There kind of thing, in that picture. I think then he questioned I think he inspired or say that challenged my secretary, which is the head of the electronics, Mr. KPP Nambiar, that why India cannot, and he said we can, why not? I said, listen. And then he asked that question to me.
Okay.
I said, I have not seen a supercomputer. I seen a picture of great supercomputers which are in some journal, but I have not seen a supercomputer. So I can't say with confidence, can you develop or not? I said, this question came to Bhabha also. This came to Vikram Sarabhai also. Though they had seen the
computers.
They had seen the atomic reactors at that time, but I have not seen. I have seen a picture. But my inner intuition or inner confidence which you are invoking at that moment, I can say that we can. I think I can make the only, and that's how the whole project began. And I gave the architecture what we could do.
You accepted the challenge.
I accepted the challenge.
Great.
And of course there were things, and they put faith in me. But I was very young, and I was very young. We had not seen electronics. I just started, and I explained that how it can be done through my intuition only. And with the way with confidence that I could answer that question at that time. I was not a very arrogant person or very not claiming like that kind of thing. Just the confidence I had, this kind of thing, inspiring from other people. I said it can be done. And then he smiled. This one, a very sour person, he was just smile. At that time, the then I think the Minister of Science and Technology, who became the Vice President and then who became the President later on, K.R. Narayan was there. He was there, and Mr. KPP Nambiar was there. Then he said, can we do it? Then I answered him like this. I have not seen, but I can say, but how much time it would take? I didn't know the answer because I said, I never seen it. The complexity. But I had worked with the government, and I said it, and I got a natural thing that if we say 5 years, it will too much because we wanted it very urgently. If I say 1 year, 2 years, that's not possible. And then I said 3 years. It will take 3 years. So my spontaneous answer was 3 years. And then, of course, the natural question was how much budget would be required for such a project like this. That again, my answer was intuitive. How intuition plays a very important role. I know. Some inner intuition came. I said, it will take, but my answer was, it will take the same amount of budget as is required to import one supercomputer. That was the thing which really think that one cost. You can develop the entire supercomputer. I said, not only that, we'll develop the whole laboratory because supercomputer development technology is advancing so fast that we'll have to develop continuously new innovations and this one. So we'll have to develop the whole lab. We'll have to prepare a large number of young people who will take up that challenge kind of thing. We say we'll develop the entire. I say it's not just development of one supercomputer. We have to create a whole laboratory with so many people and hundreds of people. And that has to be created. I said that entire thing can be done just at the cost of one supercomputer because we are going to take a totally new approach. We cannot follow American approach because that they are not ready to share with us. Neither the components, nor the knowledge, nor the designs kind of thing. We will take an entirely new approach and what I explained. That is called parallel computing. Combining the power of small computers in thousands, putting it together, we'll develop one supercomputer like that. So, and then he smiled and he said, that's interesting. I said, and let's do that. So what can prevent that? At the cost of one computer, you are promising supercomputer for the entire technology. And he said the project is approved as a mission. And that's how the beginning. That's how I got introduced to it, actually.